Cheers everybody, welcome to another video, and in this video we will be addressing the subject of the most overrated beer. Now, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, I put out a question. I ran a poll, uh, which you've already seen the video for now. I put a question out there because I'll be honest with you, I bought a beer this week and a light bulb moment went off in my head thinking, well, let's put this question out to people and I'll do a video at the weekend. I might not get many people who would comment on it, but we'll see what happens. So I put a question out saying, what beer is the most overrated in your opinion? Please comment below. I will put this video out the weekend. I'll put it out this question out. I think it was Thursday. So I've got a few comments. To be honest, I weren't expecting many because I thought, well, I've got in my mindset to do this video at the weekend. So the most overrated beer in your opinion? This isn't a poll. This is just a straight question, and I've had about 6 or 7 comments, and I'll read you them. The first comment, well, let's go with the first comment. It was from Baz, all the beer no idea. He says, tough one, cost so many beers, but I see lots of people saying how good Cruz Campo is. Utter shit in my opinion. So I would say Cruz Campo. I have to say it's overrated. Yes, but is it overrated by people who know their beer, or is it overrated by people who are just lager drinkers? They're just people who drink beer occasionally. You know, when we think about Cruz Campo, it is one of them beers where if you're bored in Spain, hot day, you want something to refresh you drink it. I know where you're coming from with that, Baz. Especially if it's available on the perfect draft. You're paying a lot of money. I think it's a lot of money. Perfect draft kegs and whatever. I do think it's a lot of money having a perfect draft, and I know where you're coming from with that. So is it over? Do I see it myself as an overrated beer? Yeah, well, I would have to agree with Baz. I suppose it is in terms of normal Joe public drinking it, as opposed to beer geeks and beer nerds like myself and Baz. Next one, Dean says Westy 12. Yes. Well founded, mate. Yeah. I'll give you my opinion on regarding that at the end of the video. Lee at 73 says putty. I have to say, it's the beer that spurred me to put this question up. Urban Viking Dave Dowling says Westy 12. I was going to say putty, but I haven't tried it yet. The Westy to me tasted bang average for a Trappist, and I remember the hype it caused in America, people paying you to $100 a bottle. Yes, I remember the $100 a bottle thing in America at the time. Gillian Shaw says John Smith's bitter, overrated. Well, I suppose there's plenty of people who drink it. Me personally, do I think it's yeah, you could say it is overrated. You could say Guinness is overrated in stout terms, because when you look at the term stout and you look underneath it all and you go to your smaller breweries who do really brilliant stouts like the Wensleydale Brewery, I have to agree. John Smith's bitter. You look at other breweries doing bitters, Theakston XB. I suppose it is overrated in that terms, yeah. Steve Allen says Madry. I know people are clueless about lager. the proper German Munich stuff, yes, who think they are drinking a craft beer brewed in Spain. In my opinion, it's absolutely shite. I have to agree, Steve, with you. It is absolute shite, Madri. I got some grief with my review of Madri because I was accused of being biased towards the beer even before I tried it. But at the end of the day, you can spot a turd on a shelf um, before anybody else can in this game. So, yeah, I agree with you on that, Steve, to be honest. Madri is overrated. So, what do I think is the most overrated beer? So, I've got two beers here which have been mentioned in them comments who I think are. Do I think they're overrated? One, I think that is overrated, and I think one that is over commercialized. There's a difference for me, and I'll kind of like try and talk through it. So we've got one beer which I think is kind of like being put out by a brewery. They do it every year. It's their hype beer. Do I think it's overrated? Well, I think it's overhyped. I don't think it's overrated. I think it's overhyped. I think there's a difference. Overrated and overhyped. We're talking about the putty. I've reviewed this. If you're going to get this video, you might get it on Sunday. This review's coming up tomorrow. I'm not going to go into the beer. I'll go into the overhype and the overratedness. It's overhyped, this beer. It's overhyped because of the commercial. It's the way they done it. You know, they've overhyped it to a degree of putting it out there as something really, really special. Limited quantities. Bottle shops get it in limited quantities every year. It puts the brewery on the map. I'm not going to argue with that. I think it's a good thing for them. Is it an overrated beer? Overrate means the beer as it is, as a beer, as opposed to the commercial aspects of it. For me, that's my mind anyway. Is it overrated? For me, I think when people would drink this and review it, there is that hypeness in the back of their heads. You know, there is the hype behind it. But as a bona fide beer, I'm drinking it now. I don't think it's overrated. I don't think it's overrated as a beer, as a tasting beer, as what that liquid is. I don't think it is overrated, but I think the name and what the brewery are trying to achieve isn't overhype. Is to hype it up, the hype train, to get people engaged with this beer all over the country and in Europe, parts of Europe as well. And because I know they export this to parts of Europe, so for them it's a good thing. And for me, Verdant is a fantastic brewery. Yeah, but I don't think it's overrated. I think it's a good beer. I do think it's a good beer. Um, it is a good beer. It stands today as it did way back in 2017 when I first brewed it. But I have a beer now here which I think is the most overrated beer. And we're not talking macro, we're not talking beer like a lager, we're talking a Trappist beer. We are talking a beer which, for me, has got such an aura around it because of its scarcity, shall I say. I was in Train with Madness 2 years ago. I asked about this beer. They laughed at me saying, do you think we're going to get that in? But when I did get hold of a bottle, I tasted it and I thought, you know what? There's better beers than that about. We're talking about that. Talk about the Westy 12. Now, I've, you know, I have heard people saying this is the greatest beer in the world. But why do they think this beer is the greatest beer in the world? Is it because it comes in it comes in a crafted wooden crate? Is it because you've got to book an appointment at the monastery to pick a crate of it up? Is it because there was a point at some time where somebody in the comments says David Downey said in the comments £100 a bottle, some of this. What do I think of it as a beer? Well, when you hype something up, you expect it to be a mind blower. You expect this beer to blow you away. And after you tried this beer, it's a life changing thing, and nothing else will taste the same ever again. Well, I have to say, I was disappointed when you look at the Rochefort 10, then the Trap Quad, even the Chimay Blue. You think they were better beers, and when I did the video for this beer, I thought those beers were in the back of my mind. I thought they were better. I thought they were better than this. And when you read about this on the internet, you read about how people were saying this is the greatest beer in the world. You can hardly pick it up and stuff like that. It's scarce. And that's what's made it overrated. It's come in a bottle with no label on. It's got the gold. It's only the crown. You can be able to tell it's a Westie 12. And all this, mysticism about it. For me, it's what's ramped it up. But at the end of the day, it's just a drinkable, fairly decent Trappist beer quad. And for me, that's it really. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's drinkable. It's enjoyable. It's fairly drinkable. It's the taste profile doesn't match a lot of the other quads, and for me, that is the most overrated beer in the world. I don't think I've ever had a beer that is as overrated as that. Murder in the comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about the putty. Tell me what you think about the Westie 12. Always value people's opinions. You can tell me I'm wrong. I won't be offended. Tell me in the comments. Tell me what you think. We'll get this conversation going in the comments, and I'll maybe put up another poll regarding this type of thing in the future. But for me, the Westie 12 is the most overrated beer I've ever tried on this channel. It is. That's my personal opinion. Tell me what you think. Thank you again for watching this 13-minute rant about overrated beers and waffle or whatever. If you're at the end, you're a star. Look after yourself. See you on my next one. Bib bib.